Hey, what's happening, YouTube? It's Glenn from Ion Silver, back to you again with another video here. And today ends the series in the Zealand Falls hiking series. If you missed any of the other videos, I'll have them linked down below in the description. So, in this video, I'm not going to be doing, showing you guys any footage of the woods or anything. I'm going to give you guys my overview of my overall review of the hike that I went on recently. I just got back yesterday. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about things that went right, things that went wrong, and things that need to be improved. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. But before I actually do, I'd like to give a big, huge shout out to the AMC. This is the hat that I got from them yesterday at the Zealand Falls Lodge. I'd like to give a shout out to those guys. Those guys do absolutely great work. And the AMC actually stands for Appalachian Mountain Club. So I'll actually have a link down below to the website of Zealand Falls if you guys want to go check that out. But in this video, I just want to give my opinion of how the trip went. I also so without further ado, let's jump right into the video, shall we? All right. So, what was the first thing that went right on the trip? The first thing that went right on the trip was I definitely brought enough winter clothing. As far as the rest of the guys that were with me, some of them did this, some of them didn't, but that's we're not going to talk about that. Also, too, the walking stick that I used, I actually don't have it with me, was actually really, really good. In fact, it was so good, I'm actually going to look into getting a second one because there were parts of the hike where a second one would have definitely come in handy. The next thing, the boots that I was using, these are the Columbia hiking boots. These boots are absolutely awesome. And they actually held up really, really good. If you guys want to check these out, they sell them at Famous Footwear for around $70, which is a very good price, in my opinion, for hiking boots. And Columbia is actually a really good brand. I actually got one of their backpacks years ago, and my mom bought it for me in the 6th grade, and it lasted from then through junior high school to high school, and all the way up to my freshman year of college. So, also too, the people on the hike and at the lodge were also very friendly. I got along with quite a few of them, and there was actually one guy I met. His name was Forest Fly. I don't know if that's his actual name, but that's what he goes by. His name was Forest Fly, and he was telling me he was hiking from Georgia all the way up to Maine and then back. So that's pretty cool stuff. I also really liked how the trail was very, very simple. It wasn't really too marked, but it only went in one direction, and it was pretty easy to really find your way and figure out where you were going. So that was actually pretty good. And in fact, in my opinion, it's actually good for beginners. And I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about that when we get into some of the things that weren't really so great. I also liked how the trail started kind of easy, then it kind of got hard, then easy, and then it got hard again. I really like it when stuff like that happens because I'm always up for challenges, I'm always up for trying new things, and this trail definitely did that for me. Also, too, when we got to the lodge, there was a body of water right next to it, like a stream, and they actually told us it actually gets to the point where it all gets covered in water. It becomes like a natural water slide. That was absolutely breathtaking and really, really cool at parts. There was actually a few pictures I took where there was caves inside of the stream, and oh my god, it was absolutely the coolest thing ever. Also, too, we saw this family of garter snakes, and garter snakes, those of you who don't live in the Northeast, garter snakes are like a long black snake with white stripes going along their back. Look them up. They're not that hard to find on the internet. I also liked how the lodge was very clean, and it also seemed like it was pretty organized. I've actually been to certain campsites that weren't completely organized. They weren't necessarily very clean. And this one was definitely top notch. Also, too, one thing I really liked, the beds that we used to sleep on, they were bunk beds. There was actually 3 a person. But the bunk beds were actually really, really nice. Well, actually, they weren't really, really nice, but they came with 3 wool blankets and a pillow. And that was something that I really liked. I didn't have to really worry too much about bringing a sleeping bag and a pillow. Okay, so those are all the pros that I have to say about the trip. Now let's move on to some of the cons. First of all, the beds, actually really weren't all that comfortable. Actually, they weren't comfortable at all. They had like a mattress on them, but it was like about that thick. And it just, it wasn't comfortable at all. The bed was really, really hard. And I actually woke up a few times just because I had to move around to find another comfortable position. So, in my opinion, that's, I think, something that really needs to be improved. Speaking with the beds, the pillows, there was absolutely nothing to them. I put my head on the pillow and it actually hit the mat and the rest of the bed. So, yeah, there was absolutely nothing to the pillows. The boots, I actually made an amazing discovery with. These boots are actually not as waterproof as I thought, even though it even says right here on the side that they're waterproof. Not so much waterproof, more water resistant. Like, I know when the water hit this part of the boot, that's when water actually started to seep in. Not too much water got in, but definitely not as waterproof as I thought they were. So, that's definitely one thing I'm going to be improving. But I'll talk more about that when we get to that part of the video. Also, too, in the latrine that was at the lodge, there wasn't enough hand soap. That's actually one of the things I really feel that needs to be there, is some good hand soap. They actually had like one of those dispensers. They only had one, and it was on the far right of the actual latrine. There was 2 stalls. They were both big enough, but there wasn't enough hand soap, and that's definitely one thing I kind of feel that's very important. And also, too, there wasn't anything to dry your hands with, so there wasn't any paper towels. There was also no hand dryer or anything, and that's another thing I really think should be improved. Also, too, the hand soap that they had was actually one of those small dial containers, like of the dial soap, and there was actually quite a few people staying at the lodge. I know when I first got there, the thing was like completely full, and by the end of the trip, it was actually half full. So, yeah, the hand soap definitely needs to be improved. Also, too, when it came out of the container, it was very, very liquidy. And it actually kind of fell off my hands a few times. But fortunately, I brought hand sanitizer with me, so that was one thing that helped. Also, too, this is actually out of the people's control who control the lodge. The trail, in my opinion, was way too easy, and when I say that, it was very, very short. It was very easy at points, which wasn't a bad thing. I mean, the scenery was great, but in my experience of hiking, I'm used to doing harder things, and I just kind of felt like maybe it didn't do that for me. Maybe that's because I decided not to climb to the top of the mountain. Maybe it's just because my personal tastes are starting to change, but in my experience, and a friend of mine actually experienced this as well, me and him kind of felt like the trail was definitely way, way too easy. Also, too, the pants that I was wearing on the trip, they were actually too big, which brings me to things that need to be changed. The first thing that I'm going to be changing is definitely the pants. I'm definitely going to be looking into getting some pants that actually fit me. The pants were too big. I actually had to stop quite a few times to adjust them because they actually kept falling off. I'm also going to be creating some kind of a sleeping system for all the trips and overnighters that I go on. Well, I shouldn't say for all of the packs that I use, but something that's definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? Interchangeable. Definitely something that's interchangeable. Something that I can stick easily into either of the packs that I use and be able to use it for an overnighter. The boots are also going to be getting updated. These boots I'm actually going to keep because although they're not really good for wet environments, they are good for a lot of hot and types of dry environments. They're very breathable, very comfortable, so I'm definitely going to hang on to them and use them for that. Also, too, while I was there, I actually picked up a pair of some really good socks, which are these by a company known as Wigwam. That's the price tag that came with it. And this is actually the third pair now of these socks that I own. And I'm actually going to look into getting a fourth pair just because I like having extra pairs of really good durable socks. And these were actually, here's the downside to buying these. They're $14 a pair, which, I mean, it's not expensive, but it's not necessarily cheap either. I know when it comes to really good warm socks, you can actually get them other places for cheaper, like Job Lot or Big Lots. But these, in my opinion, are definitely worth the purchase, definitely worth the investment. They're very warm. They definitely keep your feet dry. They're also very soft on the inside. They don't itch, and they also dry relatively easy. So that's definitely something that I'm going to be adding more of to my kit. The next thing, when I was at the lodge, I noticed that there was this gentleman who had a raincoat on from the company known as Frog Togs. I actually have one of their raincoats, and it's very good, very durable. I don't have it on me right now to show you guys, but one of the things he did was he actually took a cheap one that you can get at Walmart, and he at the end of where like the wrist goes, it's like an elastic type thing, and he decided to cut that and almost kind of made it like a t-shirt. And the reason why he did that was so that way it could be breathable, but it could also keep the wind off of him. So that's actually something that I'm going to look into doing too. The walking stick, I'm going to be getting a second one. The next thing I'm also going to be doing too is the next time I go on a trip like this, I'm definitely going to be bringing some sort of book with me to read. And that's actually all I got for the video today. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys really liked this video. I hope it wasn't too short for you guys or too long. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. Please give this video a big, huge thumbs up. Share it with all your friends and family. And until next time, stay ready, stay focused, stay strong. This is Glenn, signing off.